Arweinydd yr wrthblaid Leanne Wood.
Diolch Llywyd. First Minister, the terms upon which we leave the European Union will define the future of the Welsh economy and indeed all of Welsh politics. You've said that Wales should have a veto if the Brexit deal isn't a good one for Wales. Now, it's one thing to call for a veto, but what we need to see now is vision, and people are looking to you for that comprehensive, detailed, inspiring vision of what Wales looks like after we leave the European Union. Fighting for what we've already got in terms of funding isn't sufficient. That will just deliver the bare minimum, and it's just not good enough. When, First Minister, can we expect to hear your vision as to what a new Wales will look like after we leave the European Union, or don't you have one?
Well, it'll be a Wales, of course, that is still very much part of Europe, Wales that looks outwards and continues to be successful in attracting investment. That's the message I took to the US last week. From my perspective, it's hugely important that we have tariff-free access to the market in goods and services. It would not be to our advantage if tariffs were to be imposed. Yes, in keeping with the promise that was made by those in the UK government now, we want to make sure that Wales does not lose out a penny. That much is true. What needs to be explored now is what kind of model we need. Is it the EEA model? Is it the EFTA model? Is it a customs union model? Is it a free trade agreement model? Those are the four models that deliver at least partial access to the single market. The WTO model doesn't work, to my mind, as far as Wales is concerned. But we do need to understand, first of all, that the UK government will keep to its commitment that the devolved governments will be at the heart of negotiations, not at the end of negotiations. It also means the UK government itself has to work out what it wants. You know, it's talked about a bespoke deal, fine, but what are the elements of that deal that the UK government sees as essential? For me, funding and access to the single market are fundamental. Without them, Wales would undoubtedly lose out. There needs to be an examination of what it means for freedom of movement as far as people are concerned. We know that many people voted to leave because of that issue, and that needs to be handled carefully in terms of the public view. The next steps are the Cabinet Subcommittee met yesterday to look at the initial challenges that Brexit presents, and the External Advisory Group, which I'm putting in place, will meet at the end of the month.
First Minister, that isn't a vision. You've outlined the next steps, you've outlined what you'd like to see the Prime Minister do, but you haven't told us what you want to see for Wales. Now, there have been mixed messages coming from your UK leader on this question of single market membership, and your own statements have not been much clearer either. You've called for free access to the European single market. You've also said that you want uninterrupted access, and last week you said that you want to see a 7-year moratorium on the free movement of people. Well, I was in Brussels last week with a number of members from my team, and it was made absolutely clear to us that you can't have complete free access without accepting free movement of people. Now, access can include all kinds of costs, including tariffs, and we've heard today how that would be bad for steel. It could mean custom charges, all of which would be against Wales's best interests. First Minister, do you believe that Wales should remain as a member of the single market when we leave the European Union?
Yes, I've said that many times.
Thank you for clarity on that point, First Minister. You contradicted that position last week. So finally we have clarity. I'm grateful to you for that. Last night, your Labour MPs, Welsh Labour MPs, voted against a Welsh legal jurisdiction. The amendment that Labour voted against was from your very own Government and Laws in Wales bill, and that's not the first time that it's happened. When they voted against Plaid Cymru back in July, you said that the problem there was a matter of timing and not a matter of principle. Why can't you influence your colleagues in Westminster, First Minister?
Well, two things. First of all, I have probably lost count of the times I've said that access to the single market is hugely important for Wales and must be uninterrupted. So
access
the leader of the opposition to say that somehow this is new. I mean, she clearly hasn't been following the media or indeed reading the papers for the past 2 or 3 months. And so access to the single market for goods and services on a tariff-free basis is absolutely crucial. I've been saying that, well, ad nauseum. Secondly, of course, what happens in Westminster is a matter in Westminster. We have taken a view that a distinct jurisdiction, at the very least, is hugely important, and without that distinct jurisdiction, there cannot be a lasting devolution settlement for Wales.